weekend.
You too. Now we have Matt Hatchety from Rotten Tomatoes. We got you.
I'm substituting for myself.
Okay. All the pub this week is about Dark Shadows.
About Dark Shadows.
All right,
yes.
so
you didn't love it.
I thought it was all right. I thought it was all right. I'm probably personally a little bit more positive than most of the critics are. But this is the 8th collaboration between Tim Burton and Johnny Depp.
Is it one too many you're suggesting?
It might be. This is based on the soap opera Dark Shadows from 40 years ago. Johnny Depp's a big fan, and he got his friend Tim Burton to direct this movie. Most of the critics aren't really happy with it. It's about 41%
too
on the
campy?
tomato meter. A little too campy, unfortunately. My take on it, my personal feeling, and a lot of critics say that it doesn't go far enough, and it kind of ends up with these jokes about Barnabas Collins, the character, this 200-year-old vampire played by Johnny Depp, in the 70s, and those don't really fit what would otherwise be kind of this weird, kind of cool, quirky, gothic horror story.
But also, you ask a question. You have to be, 50 years old to have watched that, and the people who go to movies the first weekend are 16.
Yeah, I think that there's, the audience for this is going to be people who really will go and see anything Burton and Depp do together. Got it. But the Dark Shadows crowd is really, this is a show that's 40 years old.
And I know you think Avengers is obviously going to be big again.
Yes.
You know, I have a little confession to make, and I told Steve this, and he laughed at me. I think I went into the wrong theater, and so I only saw like the second half of the movie. Should I go see the first half of the movie?
You should, although I will say Avengers does take a little while to get started, so you saw the exciting part.
See, I said to somebody, it was so quick, and they were like, really? And then I realized I had walked into the wrong theater.
Now, here's a movie directed by Bobcat Goldthwait that has a really interesting concept.
Yes, God Bless America, and it's a story about a guy played by Joel Murray, brother to Bill Murray, who loses his job, and he gets diagnosed with a brain tumor, and one thing leads to another, and he starts killing reality stars and public figures.
Reality stars.
Reality stars.
Steve likes that part
like the
of it.
Kardashians,
Yes.
those kind of people.
Yes.
We're saying the Kardashians.
And American Idol
like that part of it.
contestants, and it's a very dark, very weird movie. Mostly the critics like it. It is fresh, 61%. It's yet another kind of weird movie from Bobcat Goldthwait, who has surprisingly turned out to have this great little directing career. He had this great movie, very weird movie called Sleeping Dogs Lie from a few years back. I shouldn't tell you the premise of that because this is a morning show.
What's the premise?
The premise is that the woman, it's about a woman who's got a very dark secret, and how that secret affects her family and her relationship. And I don't want to give you too many details, except that the secret is about bestiality.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The musical?
Exactly. And then last year he had World's Greatest Dad with his friend Robin Williams. Great movie. People really liked it. If you're liking the movies that Bobcat does, you can see this. It's in theaters. It's also on demand.
If you're looking for quirk.
It's kind of an interesting satire on where he thinks pop culture is going.
So it's a quirky weekend.
Maria is waiting for you over in the newsroom.
I've been waiting for her all week.
Going to be doing a Google Plus hangout with Maria.
Many men feel that way.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
Bye, Matt.
Coming up in a couple of minutes, Constance Zimmer is going to be here. Sissy Spacek a little bit later. And when we come back right after this, it's time for Adopted Pet.